All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Time for the final pass coverage Thursday of the season. First, Hawk's Nest, me, on his channel. Should be later tonight. We're going to push the start time back a few hours, make it a little more accessible for people who have work during the day. So if you like the way me and him do things, then just hold on tight. And we will be going live tonight. His channel about, I think we agreed on 6, might be about 7. But either way, definitely be there. We're going to go over this Cardinals game. We're going to go over the state of the franchise going into this offseason. And it's always fun. So, with that out of the way, let's go to Pass Coverage Thursday, where we can finally get a full look at the entire season. So, we're going to start with the linebackers as we always do. Bobby Wagner's numbers did not move because he did not play. Jordan Brooks' numbers, however, moved quite a bit. He was targeted 6 times against the Cardinals, and he gave up, I think it was 5 completions. And he gave up, 73 yards. So, not a great game for Brooks in coverage. He had that one drive where he blew a bunch of tackles in a row, and there was definitely some sense of him maybe being worn out, tired. I don't know what it was, but that was not a good drive for him. Jordan Brooks did play a good game, but he continues to be a problem in coverage. He allowed a touchdown as well. He got a touchdown credited to him, and at the end of the season, his QB rating allowed is up over 121. That is one of the worst numbers that you're going to see for high volume players across the league. And this is conservative, by the way. There are some websites that accumulate coverage stats that think that Jordan Brooks allowed over 1,000 receiving yards this year. It's not going to go away. The only thing you can do is mask it by moving him to middle linebacker, which I really hope we do in 2022. So Jordan Brooks, good player, but no indication that he's going to be able to cover better than he did in college. Looks like that's just who he is. Benson Mayowa was not targeted, so his season ends with, whatever. 11 targets, 1 touchdown, 64 yards. He's kind of the poster child for people dropping back into coverage who shouldn't be dropping into coverage, but he held up fine. Darrell Taylor not targeted. Cody Barton, however, got picked on a little bit in this game. He got targeted 8 times and allowed 7 completions, so that's a pretty decent chunk. And you can see that he also allowed nearly 70 yards. So the Cardinals picked at our linebackers in coverage, which most teams do, and it's smart, and it worked fairly well. And that's the story of the season. So, unfortunately, even though one thing about Cody Barton that I like is his coverage ability, it didn't manifest itself that well in this game. He gave up a good chunk. Now, I still think that he's probably got more potential to cover well than Wagner or Brooks, but this game was not a great exhibit of that, so we will see where this takes us going into the offseason. All right, now we go to the cornerbacks, and we see one player close out a stellar season and one player close out a stellar half a season. So DJ Reed ends his 2021 campaign being targeted 88 times. He was targeted quite a bit in this Cardinals game, 6 times, and he allowed 3 completions. So he continues to find ways to shut opposing receivers down despite, and I want to emphasize this, despite us having a lackluster pass rush. And the completions he allowed in this game were very short. He didn't allow any big plays at all. His PFF grade was stellar in this game for a reason. The interceptions that he scored against the Lions obviously helped his QB rating a lot, but even without that, I would consider this to be a stellar season. And if DJ Reed is affordable for us this offseason, I'd love to bring him back, but with the way he played, somebody will probably pay him. I know he didn't play every game, but allowing 500 yards as a number 1 corner in this defense, I will definitely take that, no problemo. Sidney Jones manned the other outside corner spot, played the whole game, and he got targeted a good amount, 9 times, but he only allowed 5 completions, and those completions went for a pretty modest 28 yards. So Sidney Jones, when I said that he's improved every game he's played this year, I meant it. He really has. That dude is something else, and hopefully we bring him back next year. I want to see what he can do with a full year in this defense. I'm shocked given where we started. I'm shocked given my expectations when we first traded for him. But Sidney Jones, he played another great game, and we found something here. If we bring back Pete, then one of the bright spots is that you can bring back Sidney. The only other corner who got significant action in this game was Ugo Amadi. He only got targeted once, allowed one completion for 1 yard, so pretty good game for Ugo, I guess. Did not have a very good season, was not that impressed with his play overall. He did get his first ever interception, but I was not that happy with the way Ugo played this year compared to my hopes. So, personally, I would like to see us move in a different direction at nickel next season, but that may not be possible, so time will tell. And that's the story at cornerback. So, basically, Sidney Jones allowed a ton of crap the first 2 weeks he played for the Seahawks, and since then he locked it down. And you can't say that much bad about any corner on this team except for maybe Amadi. Maybe Trey, but Trey got out of here so quickly, the impact was minimal. All right, finally, safety. We have a new name listed here, and we don't really have a whole lot to talk about because Quandre Diggs got targeted once, allowed one completion for, what was it, 20 yards, I guess, and then he got hurt. And we've discussed that a little bit before, but Quandre Diggs does close out his season with really, really quality coverage numbers, allowed less than 400 yards in coverage, no touchdowns that I attributed to him anyway. 5 interceptions. A lot of those interceptions were crucial. They were not garbage time interceptions the way some of his interceptions were in 2020. Don't know if we're going to be able to keep him. Don't know if I even really want to keep him. But his season was great. And the only other safety who had targets against was Josh Jones, who played most of the game. He got targeted 4 times, allowed 2 completions, 21 yards. Very respectable. Very solid. Nothing really bad to say about Josh Jones. And look, if you take a look at the actual body of work of our safeties this year, it's clear. It's very clear to me that Jamal Adams is overhated and Ryan Neal is overrated. Um, Ryan Neal, despite not playing nearly as much this year as Jamal Adams, has given up more in coverage than Jamal did. And Jamal actually had a couple interceptions too. I'm not saying the Jamal Adams trade was good. I'm not saying that he's everything I want him to be. But to act like Jamal Adams was bad in coverage this year is just, it's ignoring facts and logic, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here. And we can critically discuss Jamal Adams fine without making things up about him. That's what I'm trying to get at here. He is a very good player, an excellent player, and he is good in coverage, and he played like he was good in coverage this year, pretty much the whole year. There were a couple of lapses, but every player has those. And remember, he's working with a very lackluster pass rush. And Ryan Neal, I think we've seen these last maybe, 5, 6 games, he's a corner. He should not be playing safety. He's forced to play safety right now because of the injuries, but Ryan Neal's a corner. And as a corner, he's good in little bursts, but as a safety, playing full time, I I didn't really like what I saw. And that's pretty much all you can say for the safety position. Quandre Diggs, obviously, stellar year, awesome, awesome stuff. Really sad to see him get hurt, but very happy to hear that he's going to be okay. And there you go. Pass coverage Thursday. What did we learn? That our linebackers can't cover, and that's the area that needs to be addressed this offseason one way or the other. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Hawks Nest stream later on. You know what it's all about.